I wrote a post yesterday and it really resonated with a lot of you. And what I wrote was life will happen and there will be times when you feel broken, betrayed, and lost. It's in those moments you have a choice. You can stay there or choose to respond differently. You have the choice to give situations a different meaning. The power is within you always. And I wanted to elaborate on that today because this has been something that's been so meaningful in my life is having this perspective. And I didn't always have this perspective. For years, I would look at the situations that would occur and give it a very different meaning. So if I was betrayed, there was something that was wrong with me. There was something that I must have done that invited that energy into my life. If something didn't go well, it meant that I wasn't enough, that I didn't do enough. And I gave so many situations in my life this meaning that held me stuck and held me down and was constricting in my life. And it's only now I look back on all those scenarios and realize how much I relinquished my power in those moments. I gave my power away to external circumstances. I allowed the meaning of those to be something that was reflective of me in a negative light. And it was only when I realized that I have the power to give meaning to things, that life is going to happen. There's always going to be something that happens that is not how you expected it to go, not how you planned. And we can't control those things. It's always going to occur that something's going to be frustrating or defeating or just break you. Sometimes life seems to break you in moments, and we can't always control those. But what we always have the power to do is give it a different meaning. And this has been one of the most transformational things in my life, to realize that the power has always been within me. And I relate it to the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy. She searched all throughout that movie to come home, to figure out a way to come home. And it was only in the end that she realized that just by clicking her ruby slipper, she had the power within her all along. She could have come home at any point if she had realized the power within her. And that's the power that you have. That's the power that we all have, is that we have the power to come home. We have the power to transform our lives. We have the power to give circumstances and situations a different meaning. But unless we realize we have the power, we will constantly be searching for something outside ourselves to fix it or make it better. And it's only when we realize how much power we have within ourselves to give situations and circumstances a different meaning that they no longer become barriers. They actually become stepping stones in us moving forward and becoming a different version of ourselves. And so this past year has been it has been the most difficult years in my life. I've shared before on this podcast that a year ago I lost my brother and we were very close. I've had a lot of personal relationships that have changed in profound ways, and a lot of betrayals and disappointments within this last year. It's been grief on top of grief, and it's been very challenging. And I could have easily let it break me. I could have given it the meaning that I'm not worthy of having people treat me well. I could have given it the meaning that maybe I'm not enough. I could have easily given it the meaning that this is the end. This is the end of my joy or the end of the life I knew it with everything that's gone on. And I could have easily chosen to allow that to impact me in ways that would have kept me constricted and stuck. But knowing that at every moment I have the power to give it a different meaning has been the biggest light in my life. So the meaning that I've chosen for this year is that sometimes things have to shed away from your life to create space for something different. And even though many of the circumstances don't make sense to me, and while it's extremely hard to wrap my head around why my brother had to leave this earth at the age of 41. The meaning that I've given that through the grief is that I have to embrace life. I have to take every moment and be grateful for it. I have to cherish every moment because we really, truly don't know how long we have. And so if we're waiting for the perfect day to embrace all our goals and desires, if we're waiting for life to settle down for us to finally take care of ourselves and live our truth, we may be waiting in vain. We truly don't know how long we have. And so there's a lot of power within that to realize that even though circumstances are absolutely horrendous and there's still a lot of emotion that goes behind that, there's a lot of pain through that, and will continue to be a lot of pain through that. But I have the choice in this moment to take that and use that as a way for me to heal, in knowing that I have the choice to create a different meaning around it, and that I have the choice to create the meaning that life is meant to be lived, and that we have to cherish every single moment of our lives. And to me, that feels very expansive, that there becomes a sense of urgency that I didn't have, a year ago. And that sense of urgency, in a way, is a gift, because it makes me realize how precious life is, and that if I'm going to do something, I got to do it now. I got to live my life. I got to pour energy into myself. I can no longer relinquish energy to things that are just draining it. That life truly is precious. And that is the meaning that I'm choosing in this moment. And it doesn't mean that we don't have pain. It doesn't mean that things are wonderful after that. We still experience the pain. We still experience the emotions. But having that faith and knowing that nothing happens in vain, and that we have the power to create a different meaning in any scenario, is something that can catapult us forward and allow us to heal and allow us to move forward. There's a lot of things, again, that are going to happen in life, and maybe you're experiencing something right now in your life and it doesn't make sense. Maybe you're experiencing a tumultuous relationship. Maybe you're experiencing job loss. Maybe you're experiencing financial difficulties. Whatever it is, there is a choice in that moment. And as hard as it may be to see through those moments, just know that you have power in those moments. In those moments, you have the power to choose. You can choose to let it break you, hold you down, keep you stuck, define you, or you can choose to allow it to show you a different way. For every ending, there's a new beginning. So can you look back in your life and look at situations that may have happened that at the time felt so awful, so defeating? But can you look back at them now and realize that that had to happen in order for you to take a different path, in order maybe for you to be with the right person, in order for you to be at a job that was not as draining? Certain things have to happen in our life to catapult us in a different direction for what we are here for our soul's journey. And while our human experience may not make sense, we have to have that blind faith and that trust, and that everything truly is happening for a reason. And there's a lesson in every single experience that we have in life, as hard as those lessons may be. And in these lessons, sometimes we learn through pain and sometimes we learn through wisdom. But it's in those moments, those really tough moments when you feel like you're down, you're broken, that you learn that lesson, that you take something from that, so that you can create a different path, so that you can transmute that energy that you're experiencing into something that can help move you forward, take the next step forward, create a different life for you. And so while life happens, while awful things happen, while things don't make sense and it's hard to even conceptualize why certain things happen, if you know that you have the power in any moment to give it a different meaning, that truly is the best gift you can give yourself. And realize that external circumstances are not in our control, but what you always have the control to do is to create a different meaning around it. And if you can create a meaning that is loving of yourself, that is expansive, that is a belief that maybe this is meant to happen for some reason, even if you can't understand it right now. Having that blind faith that for some reason these circumstances are happening and I just have to trust that it will make sense one day. Then you can allow yourself to move forward in that moment and not stay stuck in what has happened. And so I wanted to share that message with you because there's so many of us who experience things that are just some of the worst circumstances, and we couldn't even imagine how life could have turned out like this or how circumstances could have happened like this. And it's in that moment that it's pivotal to either relinquish your energy to the circumstances or to take your energy back and create a meaning for it and for yourself and to move forward in that moment. And again, I want to emphasize that even though these circumstances happen, by creating the meaning, it doesn't mean that you don't experience the emotions through it. You still will experience those emotions, and you should experience those emotions because it is that emotional experience that is truly what life is. So even though things happen, we still have to experience the grief, the sadness. We have to experience all those emotions. But through those emotions, we also have to choose how we want to move forward in that. And that is where your power lies. And so I hope this helps you if you're going through something today. Maybe you're going through something that you're trying to wrap your head around. In this moment, take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, and just ask yourself, how can I view this differently to serve me and my highest self? And just sit with that. You may not have an answer in that moment, but just trust that in some way that answer will come to you. I hope this helps.